Hello everybody. We will be talking about reinforcement schedules. Reinforcement schedules affect all of our lives. The reinforcement schedules are the patterns in which expected reactions to our behavior are met. For example, when you put $1 in the vending machine, you expect a bag of chips to come out, which is an example of reinforcement. There are two major types of reinforcement schedules: continuous reinforcement or partial reinforcement. Continuous reinforcement is when the response is received every time. However, extinction occurs quickly. Continuous reinforcement is very unlikely in real life. Instead, partial reinforcement is more frequent. Partial reinforcement occurs when expectations of behavior are met sometimes. This type of schedule is more resistant to extinction even though the reinforcement occurs less because of the subject's persistence. There are 4 types of partial reinforcement schedules. They are fixed ratio, variable ratio, fixed interval, and variable interval. First of all, a fixed ratio schedule is when the reward is given after a specific number of responses. For example, when a discount is at a coffee shop, buy 10 drinks, get 1 free. The customer would stop briefly after obtaining their free drink before beginning the schedule again. A person would respond the most to this type of schedule. Secondly, the variable ratio schedule includes reinforcement after an unpredictable amount of responses. One example of this is playing a slot machine. Slot machine players don't get the reward on an exact number of times they play, but persistence overcomes them and they will continue to play, not knowing how long it'll be until their next reward. The persistent people undergo in this schedule makes the schedule the second best way to get responses. Next, in the fixed interval schedules, reinforcements are given to responses only after a certain period of time. An example of this is checking on cookies as they bake. The reinforcement, or in this case the baking of the cookies, is not dependent on how many responses there are. No matter how many times you check, the cookies will not be done any quicker. Finally, the variable interval schedules, reinforcements, have varying time intervals. One cannot know when a reinforcement will reoccur. An example of this is waiting to see a doctor. One waiting does not know when the wait will be over and they can see a doctor. The study that is mainly used was done by B.F. Skinner and his colleagues. They researched reinforcement schedules. They did this by underfeeding pigeons and placed them into a box in which they received food. They received the food in patterns of reinforcement schedules. The graph shows the results of the number of responses or pecks of the pigeons according to the types of schedules. Fixed ratio responses were at a high rate. A variable ratio was also at a high rate, but not as high as the fixed ratio. But the fixed interval schedules had a steady rate of response, and the variable interval schedules produce a slow, steady responses. Hope you learned a lot about reinforcement schedules. Thanks.